Hi, this is Michael Davis of Speaking CPR. In the business world, storytelling has become almost a cottage industry. There are so many books, so many videos, and stories about storytelling being told that I think an important message is being lost. One of the things I've learned as a speech coach and someone who tells a lot of stories is that there really isn't a right or wrong way to do this. There's more of an effective and an ineffective way to tell stories. And what I think is being lost in all this craze about getting out and telling your stories is to get down to the essentials, to make that emotional connection. To do that, it takes some work. It's not simple to craft a story that will quickly touch people's hearts and compel them to either work with you if you're in a selling position or if you're a leader, to get people to follow you. So what I'd like to do in this video is share a story that I've been using. And the reason I use this story is simply to compel people to set up a second meeting with me. The story takes about 2 to 3 minutes. I can use this in a social setting to let them know more about who I am. We've heard this concept lately of tell your why. Simon Sinek wrote a great book called Start With Why. A lot of people still don't know how to craft the right kind of story to do that. So I'm going to share an example with you that I use, and then in future videos we'll break it down. So hopefully it'll help you to be able to craft your why story. And again, the purpose of this is not to immediately sell a product or a service. It's simply to sell people on the idea of setting up a longer meeting with me so we can discuss if my services are of real benefit to them. So here's my why story. My dad is the most influential person who shaped my philosophy about doing business. My dad is the most calm person I've ever met, especially in a crisis situation. Back in 1974, it was either April 3rd or April 4th in my hometown of Cincinnati. We got devastated by a series of tornadoes that day. And we were standing on our back porch that afternoon. And the news was already out about all these tornadoes. And at one point, we looked over a hilltop off in the distance, and there was this tornado that came up over the hillside. And I immediately got scared, and I said, "Dad, we got to get to the shelter now." He very calmly reached out and just put his hand gently on my shoulder and said, "Hold on, Mike. That cloud is probably at least 10 miles away, and I'll bet you it's going to break up in the next minute or so." And sure enough, and I can still see this like it was yesterday, this S-shaped tornado started to dissipate. The top literally broke off and the cloud dissipated and it was gone. So while people all around were kind of losing their minds and getting scared, Dad calmly stood still and just said, "Wait." And it's a lesson that's always stuck with me when there's chaos around me, is to see what's really happening before you react. And I think that frame of mind helped him as far as being an optimist, because he's one of the most optimistic people I've ever met. Back in 1975, after 8 years of teaching, he decided he wanted to own a business. He'd never owned a business before, so he and my mom bought a dry cleaning business. And I never heard him say these words, but his actions said to me, "I don't know what we're going to do if there's a problem, but we'll handle it. We'll get it taken care of. We'll be okay." Now, Dad's true passion was teaching, and after he owned the dry cleaner for 8 years, he actually got back into teaching because it was just part of who he is. And I think he was meant to be a teacher because of his natural optimism and his ability to keep a calm head. He is able to see the benefits and gifts that people have sometimes when they can't. I'll never forget one afternoon, I was standing in the lobby of a Friday's restaurant with Dad, long after he had retired from teaching. A man in his mid to late 30s came up and said, "Mr. Davis, you probably don't remember me, but I had you in 8th grade biology. And I just want to thank you because you helped me find a confidence that I was lacking before that year. And your class actually shaped my decision on what career I've gotten into, and it's been very rewarding. I just want to thank you." I was just a new speaker at the time, but I realized I was witnessing something powerful. I said, if a teacher can do that, I wonder what a speaker can do. And that has helped guide me down the path of speaking and speech coaching that I now do. Each of those values, if you will, those character traits have been instilled in me. And it's why I work with leaders, speakers, and salespeople. My goal is to help them increase their impact, their influence, and their confidence. I want to pull out of them the gifts that they don't realize they even have and help them achieve and accomplish at a higher level than they even think possible. It just so happens that I do that through storytelling, speaking, and selling skills. That's my story. And when I share that with people in 2 to 3 minutes, the reactions I typically get are, wow, that's really powerful. I've had some people say, man, you got me thinking about my dad. And that's what the purpose of a good story is. It's not for people to hear about you. It's about to pull them into your world so they can think of somebody important to them. And then you start a discussion all about their world. And that's where selling really takes root and builds a deep connection so that people feel very comfortable buying from you. One of my newest mentors is a man named Jeff Bloomfield. And Jeff has taught me that people buy from people they trust. They trust people they like, and they like people that they connect with. The quickest way to connect with others is to tell a story, and tell a story about why you do what you do. In the next few videos, I'll break down this story so you can understand better why it's crafted the way it is, and then you can begin to build your story of why and increase your impact, influence, and confidence. Till next time, always remember, you do have a story or a series of stories that other people need to hear. Craft those stories well, deliver them in a dynamic style, and you'll impact more lives than you can ever imagine. See you next time.